Hello, everyone. Um, Lapo, it's just to make sure that my mic is working. Could you please confirm you can hear me from your end? Lapo, can you hear me? Or can anyone else hear me on the call?
Yeah, yeah, Miss Locke, we can hear you.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for the confirmation. So we have 6 minutes to the program. Just wait while others joins. Thanks. And welcome, Mr. Ahmed Kanifa, our guest lecturer for today. Welcome to the call.
Thank you very much. If you can hear me.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good evening, everyone.
Yes.
Wherever you're joining from, you're welcome to the call today. This program happens to be our October Distinguished Lecture. It's one of our events at our section level, and we always look forward to times like this where we have we host distinguished lecturers from SPE International. Today we have one of the finest of the industry. We have with us Ahmed Khanifa, who will be doing justice to the topic of today. The topic is CO2 sequestration, a practical insight for decarbonization success. Trust me, you have someone who has wealth of experience in this field, and we promise you're going to have value for your time today. Having said that, we'll delve right straight into the business of today, and we'll be kicking off that with the following agendas. Take you through the agenda, and next we'll take the opening prayer. First of all, our list is the safety brief, which will be taken by Sylvia Tega Obo. We have the welcome address, which will be taken by our program's chair. The opening remarks down to the closing remarks. So these are the agenda items outlined for the distinguished lecture today. So we encourage you to sit back, relax wherever you are. You know, if you can grab a cup of tea, coffee, and yeah. All right. So right about now, we will be taking the opening prayer as it is customary for us here at SPE Worry section. We'll be taking the third stanza of the national anthem. So at the count of three, we're all going to take this together. If you can, wherever you are, you can unmute your mic at this point and say the prayer at the count of three. 1, 2, 3. O
God of all creation, grant
grant
this
these
our
one
request.
request. Help
Help
us
us to build a
our
nation
nation
where
where
no
no
man
man is
is
oppressed,
oppressed. And
and
so,
so
with peace and
and
plenty,
plenty.
Nigeria may be blessed.
Amen.
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 Yeah, at this point, I would like us to turn off our microphone and go to the next item on our agenda. Thank you very much for participating in that opening prayer. Okay, so we'll be welcoming our program's chair at SPE Worry section, Engineer Elvis Joji, to take on the welcome address. Engineer Elvis, the mic is yours.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Lucky. Thank you. Good evening, everyone from Nigeria. Section chair, directors present, fellow professionals, esteemed girls, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to today's distinguished lecture. It's something of very importance to section 104, the distinguished lecture program, particularly for this month of October. It is a thing of honor. We'll be having today's topic on carbon dioxide sequestration, practical insight for decarbonization success. And it will be given by no other person, by Dr. Ahmed Khanifa. We are very pleased and honored to have you here. And he is a renowned expert in the field of carbon capture and storage. And we'll be very happy to share his wealth of experience, valuable insights with us today. As a subsurface manager within Petronas, Carbon Management Division. Dr. Khalifa leads the development of storage strategies for regional hubs across Malaysia, bringing in over 23 years of experience in the oil and gas industry to the table. I guess that is what we will be enjoying today. Very promising, with his expertise in reservoir modeling, numerical simulations, enhanced oil recovery studies. Dr. Khalifa has been a key contributor to the advancement of decarbonization project. So you can see what we are about to get in any moment from now. His extensive work in integrated fuels and storage development plans has made him a leading voice in the field of carbon dioxide sequestration. So, my fellow professional colleagues, today, Dr. Khalifa will share his practical insights from case studies, highlighting the successes and challenges of various decarbonization strategies, particularly here in Nigeria, is where it's still very much untapped, very much not well developed. So it's a huge opportunity for us to learn from experience. So we're looking forward to his presentation that will cover these fundamentals of CCS, key success factors, and the critical components of measurements, monitoring, and verification. And this will provide a comprehensive overview of carbon dioxide sequestration. So please, I want everyone to relax and join us or join me in extending a welcome to Dr. Ahmed Khalifa. And let's make the most of this opportunity to learn and to engage with him. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Harris. That was well captured. Thank you very much. So right about now, we're going to do the next item on our agenda. Before I do so, I think I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Lucky Emiami. I'm the Young Professionals Chairperson of Spe section, and will be handling the moderation for today. So we'll be calling on Sylvia Obor. Sylvia Obor to give us the safety tip for today. Sylvia, you're on the call.
Hey, thank you, Lucky. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's session. Before we begin, I would like us to take a
Hello, Sylvia. We've lost you.
moment to focus on our safety and to create a smooth and not speaking. This will prevent background noise and allow the speaker to be clearly heard. When it is your turn to contribute, kindly use the raise hand feature. This helps us maintain order and ensures every participant has a fair opportunity to speak without interruption. We will also be making use of the chat function to enhance communication. If you have a comment, simply type the letter C in the chat box alongside your comment. And if you have a question, type Q and we will acknowledge you. This will help us to track contributions easily and ensure your voice is heard at the right time. Although we are from different locations, our physical safety remains important. Please be aware of your surroundings. If you are using a headset, ensure you can still hear any emergency alarms, such as a fire alarm within your environment. Let us stay alert and avoid isolating ourselves completely while online. It is very important to also maintain a good sitting posture throughout the meeting. Sitting upright in a comfortable position helps prevent back or neck strain, and it allows you to remain attentive and engaged. So in conclusion, safety is not limited to physical spaces. It also applies to our virtual environment. So by staying muted when not speaking, raising our hands to contribute using the chat responsibly, being conscious of our physical surroundings, and maintaining proper posture, we create a respectful, productive, and safe meeting space for all. Thank you for your attention, and let us have a safe and successful section.
Yeah, thank you very much. Definitely safety is priority for us here at section 104, and well put together. Thank you very much, um, Divya. So we're going straight to the opening remark, and we welcome our section chairman, the person of Dr. Aditona Oluwaseun. Dr. Aditona, the mic is yours, sir.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Lucky, thank you so much for moderation work. Thank you, program chair. Thank you. Our dear lecturer, has been Nigeria. Hope you have been enjoying yourself. How is Abuja? Hope you are doing fine there. We are hoping to have you in Warrior physically, but due to some issues, due to flight challenges, right now rain is even falling Warri. So see, actually we know the forecast that we're going to be having challenges actually taking place. I hope we can all hear me, please. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can
sir.
hear you.
All right. So on behalf of Section 104, I would like to welcome you to this virtual dear lecture, and the program chair has actually done a little rapporteur. I did a comprehensive summary overview of what we're expecting to be delivered to us today. So for our members, professional member, young professional students on the call, it's a rare opportunity for us to have this distinguished lecturer to be in Nigeria to have this presentation with us. He's an expert on carbon sequestration, and it's something very, very, very huge. And I believe we are going to take advantage of it going forward. And please, a question should be asked at the end because he's ready for us, and I'm sure he has been waiting to unleash this lecture in Africa. Being with us today, I think, is an opportunity for us to explore what he has for us. So, on behalf of Section 104, I would like to welcome you warmly and ask everybody to sit tight and get ready as we have the presentation from our dear lecturer. Thank you all. Please have a pleasant time listening and learning from today's dear lecture. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Aditona. Quickly, we will read out the biography. Having taken the mic the next 30, 35
Sorry, Lucky.
minutes.
Somebody's talking in the behind. There's somebody mic that is not on mute. We might need to mute the person. Somebody's talking. David Kachiko or somebody is not muted. Thank you. So you might need to mute everybody. Lucky, are you good to go now?
Yes,
All right, go ahead.
Apologies.
All right, go ahead.
So I think we have that cleared now. Please confirm you can see my screen.
Yeah, we are seeing your screen. We are.
All right, right. Let's meet Dr. Ahmed Kanifa, who is a subsurface manager within Petronas Carbon Management Division, where he leads the development of storage strategies for regional carbon capture storage hubs across Malaysia. With over 23 years of experience in the oil and gas industry, Dr. Kanifa is a staff reservoir engineer known for his expertise in reservoir modeling, numerical simulation, and IOR/EOR studies. His current focus is on advancing decarbonization projects, where he plays a critical role in addressing complex challenges through integrated field and storage development plans. An active contributor to the field, Dr. Kanifa shares his insights through publications and presentations at international Spe conferences. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone on the call, with no further ado, let's welcome Dr. Kanifa to the call. Dr. Kanifa, you're welcome. The mic is yours at this point.
Thank you very much, everyone. I am checking if you can hear me well.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Sure. And I believe I need to share my screen, right?
Yes, I will stop sharing so you can do the rest.
I appreciate, yeah. So just let me know if so I am now sharing my screen. Just please confirm if you can see in full mode the presentation.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So thank you very much, everyone. Good afternoon. And my name is Ahmad Khanifar. Thank you, first of all, for the section 104 WARI, and especially the program chair and section chairperson for welcoming me. Actually, I am in Abuja and only 1 hour far from you guys, but we are now planning for this online sharing. So today, I mean, before I start, in the beginning, I would like to thank the SPE Foundation for their primary funding, as well the offshore group for their contribution. Also, I would like to thank my company Petronas for allowing me to participate in this SPE DL program, and also thanks to AIME for the additional support. Today, I will talk, as mentioned by our chairperson, I am talking about the sequestration of the CO2, a practical insight for decarbonization success. And mostly, I am gonna bring you through the fundamental and major part of the CCS that normally each project need to be considered. So my presentation will begin with introduction to decarbonization, followed with an overview of the key pillar of the decarbonization and the CCS project challenges. Through the number of the case study, I try to cover topics such as storage containment, storage capacity, geomechanic and geochemistry of the decarbonization. Next, I will discuss a bit about the infrastructure integrity concern, as well as monitoring, measurement, and verification, or in short, MMV. And finally, I will conclude my presentation with a few key takeaways. So let's start with the introduction of the decarbonization. So for the introduction, I have three parts. One is why decarbonization. The next slide will be talking about the process of the decarbonization in overall. And after that, I will talk a bit about the science of the decarbonization. So decarbonization is to control the global warming and climate changes by reducing the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. And normally the decarbonization serve as an alternative solution as we shift from the fossil fuel, the conventional way, to the renewable energy. This is our future, ensuring both energy sustainability and economic stability. The current status of the decarbonization showing the positive trend, many countries, many companies starting, despite many challenges and learning that we have. But I would say still we have a long way to achieve the net carbon emission that targeted by 2050. Just to give it some number, the current capacity around 40 million metric ton a year, and the target plan is much, much higher, around 1,500 to 2,000 million metric ton. That is targeted by 2020, by 2050. In terms of the decarbonization process also, I would like to mention this process include three main steps. Step number one is a carbon capture, where we capture the CO2 from the different sources. The second is a transport. This is where the captured CO2 need to transport through the pipeline or other mean to the selected storage site. And the third stage is a storage itself. It means injecting that capture and transfer CO2 for permanent storing in the storage site. In this picture, just I want to brief and stress two kind of the CCS model that normally you can see in most of the places. In the left side, the place showing the CCS for petroleum operation, where we need to develop a high CO2 gas field, and that high CO2 gas field require proper CO2 management and handling. And we thought CO2 sequestration, the development of such a field is impossible. And also the revenue that we come from this development come from the sale of the selling the hydrocarbon, while the CCS will be part of the cost of this development. In the right side, you can see emerging business model of the CCS, and mostly also this is my focus area. That is, we call it CCS as a service business. And in this model, company that emit CO2, have a CO2, can pay a tariff to the service provider and for the CO2 to be captured, to be transported, and to be stored for a storage site. So this is the two type of the storage that normally we're dealing with. In terms of the science of the decarbonization, also very important to understand in terms of the physics and chemistry of the CO2 and the trapping mechanism that I just here as a fundamental briefly I explain. Basically, CO2 show unique phase behavior and phase changes compared to the other gases, which is make the CO2 ideal for the sequestration. CO2 normally reach to the supercritical relatively low compared to the other gases, around 31 degree and 75 bar, which is making is to achieve under the most reservoir condition. So in the supercritical, the CO2 behave like gas in terms of the viscosity and like a liquid in terms of the density. The combination of the low viscosity and high density allow the CO2 to effectively fill and move through the porous media, which lead to the improve the injectivity and reduce the risk of the fracturing of the reservoir. The other term that normally very important is a cooling effect that is related to the Joule-Thomson. Joule-Thomson normally describes the cooling effect during the CO2 injection as very important, especially in the ultra depleted gas field. The temperature around the injector can go below the zero. This can cause icing or hydrate, and this can lead to the affecting the system design and finally impacting severely the injectivity efficiency. Additionally, CO2 has a higher solubility in terms of the other gases for the water. This is leading to the store the CO2 under mechanism called solubility. And this is mostly when we deal with a saline aquifer. And additionally, the chemical reaction that with the rock and fluid due to the forming acid also will lead to the other trapping mechanism that call a mineral, and this is most secure trap mechanism. And I just for the quick also I just put two common conversion factor that's very important. Normally when we talk about the CCS, we talk the metric ton per atom, and the 1 metric ton per atom normally around 51.7 million SCF a day CO2 injection. Just say we inject 51.7 million SCF a day for 650 days per year. This is equivalent to 1 MTPA. So next, I briefly I explain the key pillar of the decarbonization, and I will touch a bit the CCS main project challenge that is we are facing now. For any CCS project, for any decarbonization, this is this five item is a 5 pillar of the decarbonization. The first key pillar of the decarbonization is the capacity, determining how much CO2 can be stored in the storage site. This is very important for the project. The second factor that very crucial is a containment. Containment is mean understanding how much CO2 remain trapped within the storage site complex, and this is where leading to ensuring the long-term security and environment safely that we needed to store for permanent. Another success factor is injectivity, the ability to inject CO2 as per need, as per require. and required to help to manage and adjust the changing in the emission rate that we are receiving. And the next parameter that's very important in any CCS project, monitoring the plume migration. Ensuring effective monitoring system in place is very important to track the plume migration, which is by that we can ensure the storage integrity and we follow the regularity as per needed. And finally, the economy. This is very the key driver for any kind of the project is the economy. Analyzing the cost of the CO2 sequestration is a critical for project viability and economy sustainability. In terms of the challenge for the decarbonization, the current pace of this decarbonization everywhere is really insufficient and mostly due to various technical and non-technical challenges that each project is facing. The key challenges can be including the high cost for the CCS project, the technology hardware and limitation that we are facing, and the last one is a regulatory barrier that we are facing. So in terms of the technical, I will list of them in terms of the first technical challenge can be the project in terms of the CCS project is the capture and cost, achieving CO2 capture efficiency while keeping the cost low is a challenging. The second challenge can be transportation, as safely and efficiently transferring CO2 storage site also complex. The other technical normally that we are facing as very important is injectivity and the storage, ensuring we can inject CO2 as per plan and we can store without any leak in the future is very critical. And also repurposing and integrating the CCS with the existing infrastructure and the facility can be challenging. That later on I have a slide I talk about this one. And also considering the between the depleted field and the saline aquifer, normally each of them show different technical challenges. For example, repressurizing a depleted gas field can reactivate the existing fault and can cause the caprock integrity issue. In terms of the non-technical challenges, the first and the main one is the economy and the finance. So securing the funding and making the CCS really economy is very important because we are mostly anchor cost and we are not really creating cash generation, cash money. The other challenge is a regulatory and policy requirement that add another layer of the complexity, sometimes making difficult. The public acceptance and the social license also critical. Gaining the public support and trust is very important for the project success. And the last non-technical challenge can be the market dynamics, such as carbon credit that each country will put could influence the project feasibility. The next topic that I would like to cover in terms of the storage containment and storage capacity, and I try to explain it through some of the case study. The containment in simple term, meaning the injected CO2 can remain securely within the storage site complex. And it is critical for long-term security of the storage site. So the term that we are using here is a storage site complex. So the definition of the complex is very important. How we define that one and how we ensure the CO2 we will remain with this storage site complex. The main message is capacity without containment is mean if you don't have a good containment, you cannot inject and you cannot keep the CO2. To assess the containment, storage containment, we need to conduct the containment risk assessment, or in abbreviation, we call it CRA. And normally this CRA required to evaluate the potential vertical lateral movement of the CO2 and pathway of the CO2 to the surface. As shown in the graph, can be through the caprock, can be through the existing fault, can be through the legacy or the producing wells that is already in the site. So the containment assessment, normally if we want to do it, normally require to do the caprock integrity assessment. We need to conduct the fault sealing assessment. We need to conduct the fault reactivation assessment, well integrity assessment, and also we need to study the communication and juxtaposition through the nearby field, nearby layer. And to do that one, normally we need all the subsurface and wells team, geophysics, geology, geomechanics, reservoir engineering, well engineering, all hand-to-hand work together, and they conduct this kind of the assessment to ensure we have a containment. When we have a containment, is mean we have a capacity. So what the capacity mean? Capacity is mean how much CO2 we can store in this complex now. So the point is accurate storage capacity estimation require right approaches. So normally most of the people moving from FDP to the SDP, but the question if the current approach, current simulation models, current tools really sufficient for us to give us this estimation or not. CCS require a compositional dynamic modeling coupled with a geomechanical modeling, coupled with a geochemical modeling, and also coupled with a geothermal modeling. This is from the subsurface point of view. And after that, all of them needs to couple with the well and the surface modeling as well. This is where we can mimic the physics that require for the CCS. In terms of the CCS, also we need to think about when we build the static or the dynamic model, we need to build the geo body that consider the underburden, side burden, overburden, and reservoir itself. And we need to conduct several lab experiments. We need to conduct several modeling and upscaling. And in the end, we need to run the coupling modeling either in the one way, either in the two way, is dependent on the condition of the reservoir. In this, I would like just to highlight two important points when we're dealing with couple modeling. Based on our experience through conducting several couple modeling, we observe the significant difference in the result of the history matching, in the prediction matching, and in the storage with and without couple modeling. So if you are not doing the proper couple modeling, maybe you are not leading with a proper simulation modeling. And also the result of the compaction table and the couple model were similar, and this is where leading us to establish effective workflow when we're dealing with such a CCS modeling. In terms of the insight about the geomechanic and geochemistry of the decarbonization, I would like to touch it for the geomechanic. I would like to mention the property of the rock can change before and after CO2 injection. As you can see in the right top of the core that there's a sample of the carbonate sample that's showing the changes after post and pre-CO2 injection. So due to these changes, we will lead with several sequences and conserve from the geomechanic point of view. First one is a fault reactivation. Fault reactivation, which means pressure and stress can be changed, and this can lead to reactivate the existing fault, and this can be potentially causing the leakage of the CO2 to the surface. The other is a caprock integrity can be impacted, and this might be also making a leakage. Compaction and expansion of the rock due to the depletion or the injection process also can affect the storage capacity. Well integrity also can be affected, and this mostly can lead to the leakage. The subsidence and the uplift, which mean the surface movement can occur during this process, and the deformation of the rock may not be elastic. And also injecting the cold CO2 can impact the strength, rock strength, and can change the geomechanical property of the rock around the injector. And this can lead to the initiate or propagate the fracture around the injector, and this cause other cancer. In the following, I would like to show you two case studies that we conducted for this geomechanic. Actually, in this is a classical gas reservoir that was almost producing for 40 years. It is almost has a 3 main reservoir. The initial pressure was almost 3,500 psi, and the current pressure in the shallowest reservoir almost reached to the 800 psi only. And the field has 3 legacy well and 15 gas producing, and we run this one through the one-way couple modeling due to our strategy to complete this study. As you can see in this slide, case study discuss about the subsidence and the uplift, how we estimate them. So if you can see, the image show the top and side view of the rock displacement and 3 different times. The first one is an initial condition where the production starts. The second show the end of the production where the start of the injection, and the third showing the end of the injection process. The color is showing the rock displacement, and the color bar you can see between 0 to 1 meter, the changes. So the transition from number 1 to 2 is a depletion process, and the transition from number 2 to 3 showing the injection process. The result of this rock movement indicate the maximum subsidence reached approximately to 0.7 meter as end of the injection, end of the production. But this subsidence can be rebounded to about 0.35 meter at the end of the injection. And based on our assessment, the deformation of this field was largely elastic. We continue with this study from the isothermal to the thermal, and these results show the impact of the thermal on the caprock integrity. So again, the left graph is showing the temperature distribution in the reservoir in the side view, and the solid black line that represent the caprock, and the small rectangular dashed line indicating the lowest temperature near the caprock, which is approximately 40 degrees Celsius. The range, as you can see, between 150 the bar to the 30, and that lowest is 40. In the right side of this graph, you can see the stress graph of this lowest temperature. Normally, for the CCS and the for caprock integrity, the reservoir is important to remain below the failure line, as you show in the graph. Again, the 0.1 to 2 showing the depletion process, the 0.2 to 3 showing the injection process, but here we activate the thermal effect. The result of this study indicate that despite the cooling effect, despite the Joule Thomson from the CO2, the caprock still remain stable, but the minimum caprock pressure margin decrease around 10 to 15 due to the cooling effects to side of the failure line. The main conclusion, if you're doing the CCS and the project, and if your reservoir is close to the failure line, the thermal modeling is very important, and the thermal can affect the caprock integrity. And also, I would like to touch the chemistry of the decarbonization. This is also very important. And in the simple illustration, normally the CO2 dissolve in the brine, forming the weak acid, and this will interact with rock and fluid, and this can lead to the mineral dissolution and precipitation, which influence the reservoir characterization and can impact the injectivity and the storage. We conducted many chemistry study, and by doing many static and dynamic lab experiment, after that we do the upscaling, after that we do the numerical modeling through the special tools for the over of the 1,000 years to study really what is the impact from the chemistry in the overall on the project. So this is the result: minor drying out effect anticipated. Acidic area was only seen around 2 meters around each injector. And also we saw insignificant in terms of the mineral trapping from this observed over than 1,000 years. Change of the porosity due to the reaction was only very insignificant, 0.03% over 1,000 years, and insignificant injectivity loss due to the reaction. And we observed no risk on the caprock integrity due to the degradation and the sealing effect. So overall, our chemical studies show there is a really not big cancer, but regardless that one, we need to ensure when we talk about the chemistry, is it important later on when we have a material selection, when we have a flow assurance, we need to consider that study as well. This is mostly just talking about the impact on the storage and the injectivity. The next and the important one, when the topic is when we integrating the CCS to the existing infrastructure, such as platform and the wells, which are in the end of the operational life, could be a challenge. The main question that normally when we talking the infrastructure is whether the existing facility can be repurposed or we need to design new injection facility. To address this, we need to answer this following question. First, is the repurposing existing in structure technically feasible? The second question that important, we need to understand what are the costs associated with the repurposing versus building the new infrastructure. And the last one, what are the risks and the challenges associated with this repurposing of the existing facility? And mostly here, when we talk about existing facility, when we talk about the depleted field that we are using them for the storage site. For the saline aquifer, in most of the case, we don't have an existing infrastructure. So normally we will start with a new in structure, right? So this is the main question that we need to answer. In terms of some result that I would like to share with you to give you some idea, in the recent study that we conducted for the field, integrity assessment was conducted for the both legacy and producing well. A legacy well that has been P&A several years ago was flagged as a high risk. And this is mostly due to that wells, that plug cement use a standard cement plug. And that standard cement plug is not appropriate for the CO2 and cannot resist with the CO2. To mitigate this risk, we plan to re-enter the well and replug the wells using the CO2 residence cement. And this mitigation definitely will add a cost to our current project, right? So in other wells, also we learned that the injection pressure, as you can see in the cartoon, next to the casing of the 9.5 cannot increase to the initial pressure. And this is mostly due to the degradation of that around cement around the caprock. And this is we concluded based when we studied the PPFG, and when we studied the minimum horizontal stress, the SHF mean, as you can shift. The initial pressure for this study was we target to inject up to 4,500 PSI, but due to this risk and in order to mitigate this risk, with the current P&A plan, we limited our injection only to 4,000 PSI. It means 500 less than target plan. And definitely injecting less definitely will impact less injectivity and less injection storage capacity, which costs also high risk into the project for the moving way forward. And the last topic that I would like to also, within the timeline that given to me, I would like to mention that one, actually about the monitoring, measurement, and verification. That really, this is a very key aspect of the CCS project. And this is where we address the security of the storage site. Because when we're talking the STP, we are not talking about the 20 or 50 years like the FTP. We're talking the beyond maybe 1,000 years. So the MMV required to cover that security of the storage site. So MMV means ensuring the CO2, injected CO2 securely stored and move within the storage site complex. No leakage and environment issue over the time. That over the time here is mean forever, but to just keep the number, normally we're talking about the 1,000 year plus. So this MMV need to address the risk for the leakage. So the leakage come from where? The CO2 can migrate along the PNA wells, as I mentioned, maybe using the normal cement. The migration can go around the injection wells due to the poor cement or whatever, any other integrity issue. Migration of the CO2 can along the rock matrix pathway. Induced stress can be happen, and this can reactivate the existing fault, and this fault can be pathway to the surface. Induced stress due to the changing in the geomechanics can open fracture, and this fracture can open pathway to the surface. Acidic fluid, as a chemistry point of view, can erode and degrade the geological seal and the caprock, and this is where maybe can leak happening. And the other migration that very important, we need to understand the CO2 not moving out of the complex to the near field oil and gas field. Here I just show you one of the conceptual framework for the MMV in place for the one of our case study. This is just to show you how look like when we talking the MMV plan. So just to briefly just show you, this is a reservoir in the yellow color you can see. We have an overburden, we have an underburden. This is an offshore case. We have a sea, and this is a different means. We have an observation well. We have an injector well, that is the producer converted to injector. Each injector or producer and observation well was occupied with a fiber optic, while the PDG. To study the fault, actually, also we use the fiber optic to measure the changes in the seismic and acoustic. And also we have a seabed sensor for micro seismic. We have a microgravity. We have also doing the seismic to establish the baseline. Most importantly here, the MMV should be site specific. It means each storage site cannot buy one recipe. This is site specific. And also the MMV need to be risk-based. It means the MMV program need to address all the risk and all the critical risk. And also the MMV is an adaptive plan. It means it will be mature along the road when we mature the project. And also I would like to mention, when we're talking the MMV, we're talking the establishing the baseline for the MMV. We're talking about the survey of the frequency of the survey, how often I need to do that kind of the survey of the measurement. And when we talk in the MMV, normally we talk about the tier 1 and tier 2. Normally tier 1 is the method or the program that must be in the place, the minimum requirement. And tier 2, normally this is the optional or optional opt-in that nice to have it in our MMV plan. So one of the main deliverable of any CCS project is a MMV program and cost. And the MMV cost normally is a major part of the total project cost of the CCS. And this is where very important to be optimized, very important to be revisited oftenly, and the cost need to be optimized as much as possible. And in terms of the MMV program, there are many considerations. The first consideration, the MMV need to address the CCS risks through the different monitoring means, and also need to provide a mitigation plan in the case if some risk happening. And the second, MMB program need to have a necessity and accuracy. What that means we need to ensure the monitoring method provide accurate data. And this can be case by case also different. And the other item, the survey frequently. We need to determine the optimum frequency for the monitoring activity. And the last one is a cost effectiveness that is very important. We need to maximize the efficiency of the activity and by reducing the cost. So in the some cartoon that you see, this is we have like the seabed sampling. We have a seabed water sampling. We have ROV survey for visual inspection and data collection, as you can see. Also, normally we run the 4D seismic, and this is where to monitoring the changes before we start with the injection. We call it the baseline of the CCS. And one of the major portion of the MMV program, normally we think to include the fiber optic in the injector, fiber optic in the observation. And there are many methods there. Can be DTS that measure the survey for temperature. Then DSS, we can measure the microseismic, and can be DAS. This is where like we can measure the acoustic sensing of the fiber optic. And also we can consider multi-logging tools, and this is where we can determine the subsurface analysis. So this is the overall look of the MMB program and cost, and this is where we can consider for this program. And finally, I would like to conclude my presentation with few takeaways. Decarbonization is essential for the future. It is a solution as an alternative solution, transition solution when we are moving to our future with the renewable energy. We need to overcome the key CCS challenge, which are important, including the high project cost, technology limit, and regulatory barrier. Technology innovation is essential to address the current limitation and make the project cost effective and efficient. We require expert knowledge, and also we require the subsurface and surface resources to ensure the success for the decarbonization. And also the last one, we need to focus on the long-term security when we're dealing with the CCS. This is where we ensure the site stability and conformance, which is very important. By that one, I believe I end my presentation. So I will back to the Luki, back to you, and I am open for any Q&A, please. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kanifa. This was a beautiful presentation. I can't express how grateful we are to have someone like you with a wealth of experience in this aspect of CCS to share with us from your experiences. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have you. So at this point, we'll open the floor for Q&A, questions and answers. Please keep the appreciations coming. You could use a virtual clap. You could use the chat box to appreciate our distinguished lecturer for today. So at this point, open the floor for questions and answers. If you have questions, you could use the raise hand button on the screen to indicate, and you'll be called upon to ask your questions. Otherwise, you could use the chat box to drop your questions. Okay, so I think we have a question on the chat box already. This is from Ilufoye Toyib. There's a question around how can developing countries like Nigeria integrate CO2 sequestration into their national decarbonization roadmap while balancing energy security and economic growth. Dr. Kanifa?
Yeah. So Yeah, thank you very much. I think this is a very right and very good question, thinking about the future in Nigeria and what has been done and how the country, other country done, and they established the roadmap. I have a slide, but I don't think it's in this pack, but this is very nice to showing what is the possible roadmap. Normally, when we thinking the storage site, we have a several level of the study. The first study is like the, we call it atlas level of the study. Atlas level is mean when you match between the source and the sink of the CO2. Is mean you identify how much CO2 will produce from any sources and how much storage or site will be available. To just matching between the source and source, you identify the potential in the high level. We call it matrix atlas level of the study. After that, normally we go one level more deeper. This is where we identify the pre-storage level of the study. This is where we examine if that storage in the high level, if that field or if that depleted field is suitable for the CCS or not in the very high level. This is where we secure and we lock that storage site for our CCS plan. So most importantly, we need to have a roadmap plan to see in Nigeria, for example, how much CO2, where is available, the location also available. For example, in Malaysia, one of the challenge is the offshore. We're dealing with offshore. I am not familiar with Nigeria, but if the onshore normally easy to work on that one. So each of them has a challenge of them, but most importantly, to start, we need to have identify the source and sink between the where the CO2 will produce as a source and where we're gonna to inject them back as a sink. So matching these two will give us an overview on our future, especially in Nigeria, if planning for any CCS.
Fantastic. I hope that answered your question to you. Thought earlier we had one hand raised. Okay, maybe this answer already answered the question. You can still, you still have the opportunity to drop in your questions. On the screen, Dr. Khalifa is sharing a code. The code you can scan on the screen to drop your feedback. I'm sure you've had a fantastic experience from the DL today. You could drop a feedback using the QR code on your screen and rate the session from SPE International. Without wasting much time, let's use this opportunity while we wait for further questions. Let's use the opportunity to take the photograph for our DL today. So at this point, I would encourage you to turn on your cameras. If you don't mind, you could stop sharing from your end.
I am not familiar with the Zoom. Just I try to see how I stop the. Yeah,
fine.
sorry about
It's
that.
fine. I will.
Yeah, if you can override, yeah, just please.
I will override. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to stop sharing. All right.
Maybe I ask question. Is this possible? Also, I ask question. At least I get some idea about Nigeria in terms of the where we are in terms of the CCS and really how we can help or communicate, because the way now we are doing the CCS actually, where is you can see me or?
Yeah, we can see you. Fantastic.
Yeah, okay. Because I didn't see myself in the screen. I am not sure where I am, but actually just my question, because now we're looking for CCS and we importing the CO2 from different country, you know. So because the model that we are looking for the CCS, we call it CCS as a business model, right? So just I would like to also understand in terms of the Nigeria. I know Nigeria has many gas, oil, and field, and one of the country in this one. Just in terms of the CCS, I would like to understand where we are and maybe how we can help you know, in this one, and how we can share experience or how we can develop, I don't know, plan or whatever. So maybe if Lucky, I don't know if any chairperson or I mean anywhere, if possible, to share with me also.
Okay, I think the question is open to everyone on the call.
Yeah, everyone, yeah.
Yeah, so if you have something to share, you could just unmute and express yourself. We have senior members of the section on the call as well, and if they would also like to respond to Dr. Kanifu's question. But while we're doing that, let's quickly turn on our cameras wherever you are. I'm seeing just few cameras. Please keep them up. So we'll take the photograph session alongside this. All right. So with response solutions people energy, when I call SPE, you respond solutions people energy with your thumbs up this way, and we'll take the photograph. SPE energy. You're free to unmute at this point, okay? You're free to unmute at this point. Yeah, okay. If you see haven't turned on your camera, this is an opportunity to do so. I'll take that again. SPE, you can unmute your mic and respond, of course.
Solution people energy.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic, fantastic. Fine, keep it up. All right, fantastic. That's short. Okay, so the floor is still open for the questions and answer session. Please, you have answered to Dr. Kanifu's question, you could drop it. And if you still have questions to ask him, this is a good opportunity to do that. We have about 3 minutes to wrap up with this segment, and we'll call it a day. Yeah. Questions, answers. Okay. All right. So we're supposed to have is someone saying anything? All right. So we're supposed to have okay. Kizito, go ahead.
Sorry for interrupting, Lucky. I don't know. I'm trying to raise my hand, but I couldn't see the feature. I tried opening it.
That's fine.
Well,
that's fine. Go ahead.
I was good evening, everyone, and good evening, Dr. Ahmed, and thanks for this class. If I get your question very well, you were asking on the state of Nigeria decarbonization process, right?
Yeah, I actually I would like to understand, and if how, because the reason I am here, just I am also spreading some knowledge, so maybe I can help, or also I can share some of our experience with you guys, especially if somebody from the industry here, I am not sure, but I believe if from university also should be fine, but just try to understand then where is Nigeria in terms of the CCS.
Okay, I might not have what's it called, a more in-depth answer, because there are people that are more better hands than me in the industry that would have a larger overview. But not to leave your question unanswered, I will try to give to the best of my knowledge, and maybe my senior colleagues could top on that or build on that. So, for one, I'm very much aware that Nigeria is a signatory to the 2060 net zero agreement or target. So, in line with that, so many companies are working towards that. I know that I think Shell also has Shell Nigeria has committed to, I think, 2030, committed to achieving net zero gas flaring in 2030. So some other companies have various commitment and time frame, but the Nigerian government has set it to a maximum of, I think, 2060. So hopefully by 2060, we'll be able to achieve a net zero greenhouse gas emission in Nigeria. But then various companies has their various transition plans and how they intend to achieve that. So that is what I know to the best of my knowledge. Thank you, sir.
Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kizito. Thanks for your response. Tony, I can't see you on the call at this point. I'd like for you to take on the last item on our agenda, which is the announcements. I'll call it a day.
Maybe before we call it a
Okay,
day, just a quick.
Wisdom's
Can you-
hand is raised. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Okay, so just a quick one, based on the question, the lecturer. Thank you very much once more. With respect to Nigeria, I'm not sure if the regulator, I mean the upstream regulator, currently, if there has been any dedicated reservoir for that storage. Again, most of the pipeline systems we have in Nigeria, I'm not really sure again in terms of the connectivity between the various sources of emission that can convey the carbon dioxide to those areas. So, but I think at this stage, probably there are regulations and there are guidelines and policies that are being drawn to support that in full implementation of that. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Elvis. Wisdom, you'd like to ask a question? Your hand is raised.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Lucky. I wanted to contribute to the question the speaker asked about how far carbon capture storage projects are in Nigeria. Well, the only one I personally know of is the one at Ogarife by Pan Ocean Oil Corporation. So that's just the one I'm aware of. I don't know if there are more that are currently, as the speaker spoke about, that are currently ongoing in Nigeria, and probably others can enlighten us about them.
Okay, so the one at Ogarife. So for Canifa, Ogarife is in Delta State. Delta State is a home to what you know as Spe Worry section, right? So so you could understand the context, right? So
Okay.
Wisdom, if you could just share a little light on the one at Ogarife, just share a little about it. Yeah, if you have any information. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Well, the one at Ogarife, to my knowledge, it deals with capture of the gas used for flaring. Most of the gas that goes into flaring, they capture the emissions, and then they also channel it to gas turbines. You know, most of our power systems here in Nigeria, they are powered by gas turbines. So they sell it to the NGC, and then they use it to run electricity in the country. So that's my own knowledge of it. And currently, I think they are earning from it. The government pays them for that. Yes. But
So,
I think that's also different from what the speaker is talking about directly from the subsea.
All right. Thank you. Wisdom, thanks for sharing that. Toyib, I think you're the last person whose hand is raised. Go ahead, please. Toyib. All right. I think we can close the Q&A section at this point. Thank you very much for everyone who contributed, and thank you, Dr. Kanifa, for sparking this conversation. The announcement is that, of course, SP Worry section has a lot of events coming up in the subsequent month, November. We have quite a number of activities at the young professionals level. Our ALPs are coming up, Energy for Me events, our technical and professional programs are also coming up in November. So for a lot of us who are on the YP platform, once those programs unveil, you're going to see them. And for those of us who are not within the YP space or within the sections WhatsApp platform, you can always follow us on our social media handle on LinkedIn at SP Worry Section. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. We're also on YouTube. You can follow us across our various social media platforms and get first-hand information of all our programs. Thank you so much, everyone, for being part of this program. I think I would like at this point to welcome to call back our section chair, engineer or Dr. Adetuna Oluwaseun, to just give us the final words, and let's close the session. Dr. Adetuna, the floor is yours, sir. Dr. Adetuna? All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being part of the distinguished lecture today. Thank you to our amazing lecturer, Dr. Kanifa. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your resources, of course, and sharing with us from your wealth of experience. We truly appreciate this, and we hope that we'll get to see you subsequently. Of course, we could always invite you back to. Of course, the time wasn't enough. We could always invite you again to continue this conversation. Thank you so much, and thank you, everyone. And
it was my pleasure. Yeah, it was my pleasure, and my contact is available anytime. If you need my help, I am available for everyone. Yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for inviting me. Yeah.
Fantastic. It was our pleasure as well. So from us at SP Section 104, bye and good night.
Bye, everyone.